What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, presented as always by Pure Options, precision-crafted cannabis. Go to Pure Options today and join their Pure Perks loyalty program to have your Pure Options experience tailored just to you. I'm telling you, it is worth it. Fantastic promotions, events, all that right at your doorstep when you go to pureoptions.com and sign up for the Pure Perks loyalty program. You can download their app as well and have it right at your fingertips at your phone. And our Wednesday evening show, brought to you by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. It is never too late to start betting the Tigers, apparently. Jump on the train. Take this thing as long as it can go. The odds aren't quite as good as they once were, but have some fun if you want. Download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app today. And also, our Wednesday evening show brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar, just north of Frandor on the East Lansing border on East Saginaw. Unbelievable place to watch the Tigers, to watch college football, the NFL. If you're looking for a place Thursday night and you don't have tickets, Front 43 and Cask & Company, Saturday, great spot. Great way to just be around fellow Tigers fans, enjoy the game, great menu, terrific beer selection. Or you can have tickets, like the Rube. Jason, how you doing, man?
Go out there, play hard, stick your cleats so far up their asses that they've got to use the cleats to brush their teeth with.
Oh, yeah. What's up, buddy, you sweet, beautiful bastard?
Oh, man.
I'm so happy to see you. Not only for the reason the Tigers won, that you dropped the Stallion story an hour before the Tigers game in one of the most beautiful things ever. Everybody's been hounding you for this Stallion story, and you go, all right, let me just drop it an hour. And I was like sitting there, I was like, man, it was like quarter after the game was coming on. I was like, you bastard, I'm not going to go read this right now. So the way I need some time to read this over. Why are you dropping it an hour before the game, man? What's up with that?
The plan was originally probably in the morning. Originally, it was going to have a hockey column that was going to run in the morning. I didn't have it ready, so that's going tomorrow morning. So we had to run the Stallions column, but we didn't have
drop that tomorrow at 5.
Didn't have the full go ahead yet from my editor to like give one more look at it to make sure, because we're using anonymous sources and we're real careful of that and confirmations. Mm-hmm. And by the time it all came down, it was like almost 2:00, and my editor said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to wait till tomorrow?" I was like, "Nah, people will read it whenever. Just let's put it out there." So,
dude, Couch is the gift that keeps on giving, though. That's the best part. All of these weeks and weeks and reading all of these. Where's the Stallion story? Where's it at? An hour before the game. But anyway,
what do you?
Hell yeah, the Tiger. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. You could have put it out right now. I don't know. I'll get to it in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
It's unbelievable.
People will get to it. So
it's fucking team, man.
We have a good show today. I'm in a great mood, by the way, because last night saw Les Miserables at Wharton Center.
You did?
Very, very pleased. Very pleased.
One more day to revolution. We will nip it in the bud. We'll be ready.
Oh, man, it's beautiful.
This is how good of a mood I'm in, by the way.
Oh.
You should have saw Couch picking this clip. No, that's the wrong one. Like, if it couldn't be more annoying that this bastard wanted Les Miserables, he's in here. No, wrong one. Wrong YouTube video. There you go, buddy.
YouTube is so going to ban part of our show for that. Oh, well.
Wow, Couch is in a good mood. Did he get laid? Oh, no, he went and saw Les Miserables. It's like, what the fuck?
It was great.
Maybe both.
It was great. It's playing all week at Wharton. That's my pitch for Wharton. And then the Tigers put in a good 5 miles on the treadmill watching the Tigers today.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Hell yeah.
That was fun. And the thing, it's getting so real because you start to go, wait a second. They could actually be in the ALCS.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and you start going, well, they're at least going to get to pitch Scooball in a Game 5. Worst case scenario on full rest in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Today was pretty awesome, though, because they're catching breaks that teams don't often catch. You know, that rocket shot that Vierling catches in his glove that could have been a double and a 2-run scoring double. They're getting Torkelson hadn't had a hit since like
Thank
Labor
God.
Day.
Slump buster Torque.
Big hit, big moment. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's at Comerica Park. The energy there looked amazing. One of those fall crisp days where you can tell the baseball matters. it's as fun as I've ever had watching a Tigers game. It is just, I don't know.
I just think more importantly the pitching staff. I just can't believe that they can cobble this together and get these guys to buy in. And Bo Brisky is like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Matt Vierling's playing third in the playoffs in October for us, and we're actually not pissed off about it. I mean, I just can't. I don't know. I just soak it all in. I stare and stare into the game and go, my God, I can't believe we're still here.
Well, it's just remarkable amazing. Because less than 2 months ago, this was so improbable.
And rightfully so.
100%.
People keep bringing that up, but this team was dead ass in the water, and I'm sorry that I wasn't on board at the time. Yes, was I still watching games? But yeah, man. It's like, I mean, look at Parker Meadows. The guy started the season like 7 for 70. We never thought we'd see him again, and now he's like a big cornerstone piece of the future of the franchise.
So good in the outfield. He makes catches in the outfield look easy.
Running the bases. You know that he's going to get there. Those 50-50 like plays at first base, you know he's going to get there. It's just unbelievable.
So tell your dilemma about your game Thursday, the Tigers game Thursday.
Well, there's not much of a dilemma. I just was looking. I do have tickets tomorrow night, section 140.
You have 4 tickets, correct?
No, I have 2.
Oh, 2.
I got 2.
Okay.
I bought in. I jumped in early, got online and all that stuff early. Snagged 2 for face value. So I'm not talking like
what is face?
Face was $105 a piece.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I'm in for $210, taxes $240, something like that. So I'm looking at tickets last
parking
night.
$750.
Parking, parking's not as bad as Lions games, but it's it's a part of the cost. So definitely, I'm going. I mean, the point is, I'm going. But Treese asked me last night because I was looking on Ticketmaster of like resale value of these, and they're going for the ones I have around the area, the section, are going for like $400 a piece. So I could double my money off one ticket. But the thing, and she just asked me last night. She's like, "Well, what's your price?" And I was like, "Man, I really don't know because I want to go to the game, and I'm not one of those kind of people that can maneuver around, like sell my tickets and then get other ones and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just a simple man that wants to go to the game. But when you start throwing numbers at me, that's what I mean. Like, I did see some going for like $800. And if the money was in front of me, I mean, yeah, we could talk. But what is
the price?
Well, think? Some right now I see, section 138, like they're still around the 400.
See, to me, that's not a
market. Right.
To me, if you get to the point, because what you have, first of all, what I always try and answer when I have a situation like this is, and I haven't been in many of them, but like, what will I potentially regret more? And is there a chance I am going to, like, a year from now, have just gotten an extra $400, $800, and you know what? But I didn't have that experience.
Well, for example, the Lions playoff game against the Rams last year, Jordan and I got a little high on our horse, and we had our great seats that cost a fortune. But I would not trade it for the world. Correct. I mean, obviously that they won the game, but I was like, man, we are going to this playoff game. We're looking for a playoff win. We got to just spend this money. So it's like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of looking in retrospect, it was kind of crazy, but it was worth it. I just wouldn't want to give up these tickets and not go for sure. But.
If the price got up to like $1,000 each, you start to look at like, now you can almost do a vacation. Now you can create a different experience, right?
Well, but I still want to go. So I mean, do I buy like a standing room and like Trace and I go in there? And I don't know. She's like 5 feet tall. That wouldn't work.
So
she's not good in standing room only.
I would go. I think unless you're somebody who's like,
no, I'm 1,000% going. It was more of a conversation I found interesting. Is that she asked me what my price would be, and I was like, And then today with the game, with them winning, it could be a clinching game to be there for that. I mean,
my only experience where this has backfired on me is in 1995. First year, my dad buys season Michigan State football tickets, right? 15-year-old Graham, big deal. Mm-hmm. We were not season ticket people. And the Michigan game that year, a lot of people will remember who are of a certain age, was the Tony Banks, Musa Muhammad, Nigel Carter, Derek Mason. Like, it was an epic win, final drive, right? Then it's one of those 3:30 kickoffs where, it gets dark in the second half and everybody's got hot cocoa and the snow is coming down. It wasn't so cold, it was miserable. It was like one of the best experiences a 15-year-old sports fan in this area can have.
Yeah.
2 years later, the Michigan State games happen again. My dad still has the season tickets. Michigan State gets off to a decent start. I think they had one loss the week before. Michigan was undefeated. They went on to win a national title that year. But it was a huge game. And it was a noon start, so he doesn't get the same zest. And this is early days of the internet, right? But tickets and resale were going for about $500. And this is back when, tickets themselves were like 30, 25. They were like 25, 95. I don't know what they were, but they weren't that much. And at that age, $500 was like a lot of shifts at CPI Photo in the Lansing Mall for me. Like, that's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, but you weren't going to starve if you didn't get that kind of cash. I mean, right? You still had a place to live.
Well, here's the problem. We chose not to do it, partly because my dad paid for. I didn't know if I was going to get any of the money too.
Oh yeah.
So my dad paid for the tickets. Like, how is this financial transaction going to happen? But the game wound up stinking. Like, noon game, Michigan State gets hammered 24-7. Doesn't get hammered, but it just wasn't exciting at all. And so you do risk that. Like, tomorrow, the bull pitching was great today. The bullpen was great. Tomorrow they could lose 4-0.
Sure.
And you don't have that. But
I'm there for the vibe. I mean, I
still think it's worth it.
The anticipation and getting in there. I mean, you can't think of it that way. But yeah, if you're a 15-year-old kid and you go, well, my dad's not going to give me any of this. Let's go. What do we care?
Yeah. You got to go. I think the price has to get into the thousands before you think otherwise even.
But even then, what do I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not savvy where I'm going to sell those, and then do I wait to
And what are you really going to do with that money in the long term?
Well, we're going
to
Vegas next month, so I mean, that would be nice to have that little. Believe me, there was conversation. You could always use money on something where you're flipping something for 18 times the value of what you bought it for. But you
get the right weekend, you might be able to double it. Then that's true. Maybe it's
or I could go old school and just bring 300 and hope to add a zero.
Yeah,
go that route. If I'm done early.
I've tried that. It doesn't work very often.
That's why I had to leave $100 when we go back in the day in the glove compartment to make sure I had gas to get home and get out of the parking lot.
No, I had rules about my ATM card. Do not, don't. Yeah, bring the cash.
You have to
leave the ATM card because you can really.
It's a great problem to have, though. By the way.
Yeah.
My God.
We've got a fun show here in a little bit. We're going to talk to Madeline Kenney, Michigan State beat writer for the Detroit News. We'll talk some MSU football with her.
That's all she heard.
She's also
at breakfast.
Yes, she's also leaving the beat. Like, this is her final week of the Detroit
because
News.
of that trip.
Yeah, she was like, staying with
Jesus.
Couch and Solari was awful. She's leaving the trip. So. Leaving the beat. So I just wanted to talk to her about her impressions of the beat, of Izzo, of MSU football, all this stuff. I thought it would be a good week to do that. We will talk to Harry in a little bit. We'll get our picks for this week as well, and then we will do your Twitter questions. I put it out late. I knew we were going to do a shorter segment of them. We got because
Graham's going to Marquette.
I'm going to Marquette tomorrow. So, but we got
Les Mis, Marquette for you. I mean, my God, it's like a Hallmark movie.
Peak Graham week, absolutely.
Is it your birthday?
It's not quite, but it feels like it. No, this is as good as it gets. And so anyway, we got about 14 of them that we're going to answer. About 14. We got 14 exactly, I think, that we're going to answer.
Give or take.
Some really good ones. I think it's going to be a good conversation on a lot of different things. MSU football, hoops, Connor Stalions, the whole deal. The Stalions piece, I'll say this. To some people, I think they were waiting for it and they were happy with it. For other people, it was underwhelming. Like, they kind of figured this was the news. This was everything that I have that I felt 100% comfortable reporting, that my editors felt comfortable reporting. It's not everything that I have, but you also have to protect your sources. And one thing that allowed us to, people are wondering like how that I was able to do this now. And when for so long we've sort of teased it on this show and not been able to, I've had some of this since like June. And what it basically came down to is we needed corroboration. We're not big into anonymous sources at the LSJ. And one thing that gave us enough corroboration was that CMU confirmed that they had gotten rid of Jake Costner. So, you've got a source that you trust saying this is the guy who orchestrated it, and then there's a corresponding move that's not an anonymous source from some other news source or anything like that. That corresponding move from CMU saying they've separated. So that's the move that happens. Your source says this is the guy who orchestrated it. That's a level of corroboration, along with me trusting the source, that allowed us to go with it, that allowed my editors to feel comfortable doing it and to meet our standards. So that's why it ran. I think the fact that it's like presidential impeachments take a lot less time than this is taking. It's ridiculous.
I was about
at this
to say,
point.
do you remember where you were when Graham's Stallion story dropped?
Well, no.
I was waiting for the Tigers game. I had the TV set up outside. I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to read that in the morning.
I'm not talking about I started teasing. I'm talking about since the crime actually happened,
I know,
to
it's
speak.
still the best part.
Yeah, no, it
oh,
was
my God. I was
typical
driving in here. I was like, the Tigers won, and Couch drops that shit an hour ahead of time.
We will talk some more about
Beautiful.
it in the Groovy Donut Twitter questions that we will get to in a little bit. Let's take a quick break. We'll have Madeline Kenney on from the Detroit News. Couch in the Rube, presented by Pure Options, precision-crafted cannabis, along with our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app, and Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar.
Hey, sports fans, are you tired of the same old routine? Looking for a way to unwind after a long day? Look no further than Pure Options, the premier destination for all of your cannabis needs in Lansing, Detroit, Muskegon, and Mount Pleasant. Whether you're cheering for the Lions, Spartans, or the Wolverines, Pure Options has everything you need to elevate your game day experience. Mention Couch the Rube when you visit Pure Options and get a Pro Grow 8th with a $50 purchase. It's our way of saying thank you for being a loyal listener. Swing by Pure Options today and elevate your cannabis experience to a whole new level. Firekeeper's Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing.
Find Couch and the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite, Podcast Addict.
Couch and the Rube, presented by Pure Options Precision Crafted Cannabis, and our Wednesday evening show brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar, just north of Frandor on East Saginaw and Lansing, as well as Firekeepers Casino and iCasino and Sportsbook. Please now to have Madeline Kenney making her Couch and the Rube debut in her final week on the job. Kind of dropped the ball on this here. Madeline Kenney from the Detroit News covered Michigan State football, men's basketball, all things MSU. Maddie, thanks for taking some time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for finally having me.
I know.
It's
It's not great. It's not great. So before people should know, this is your last week. You have moved to the greater New York City area, packed up your car on Sunday after spending a couple nights in an Airbnb with me and Solari, and said, "Fuck it, I'm out." And and so you've moved there. No, actually, you moved with a friend of the show, James Edwards, and who has begun covering the New York Knicks for The Athletic, and you're both going to be in the New York area.
Yeah, I mean, what is a better time to live in New York than right before you turn 30? So I just figured, this is like a perfect opportunity, and obviously I wanted to come with James. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Like today I was walking around the neighborhood, and there's just like a different feel around here.
I don't believe that there's a different field in Lansing, Michigan, in anywhere out east. But
I didn't say it was a better feel. I just said it was different.
Well, you lived in the ballpark apartment, so I was always envious of that, overlooking the downtown ballpark here in Lansing, which I thought was a cool place to live for a year.
We're dropping MFers now?
You might recognize that voice. That's from James. I wanted to talk about a few things with you. Number one, before we get into some MSU football and other things, what was your first impression of the folks on the beat? Like when you came to those initial press dealings, it's me, it's Solari, it's some other folks. What were your initial thoughts? Like, what were your conversations with your family and friends about whether you made the right decision?
Well, I think when I initially told people I was leaving the Warriors to cover Michigan State, everyone thought I was they were like, "What are you doing?" But when I explained the situation and the fact that I came up from Nebraska and college sports was my life growing up, and that's what made me want to get into journalism, everyone kind of knew and understood. As I talked to people about the Michigan State beat, I obviously heard great things about you, Graham. You were helping me find a place, which was extremely helpful and appreciated. And then Solari, I heard he was an interesting character. And I was kind of preparing for the worst with him, just based off of some stories. Like some people told me that he can get a little loud during, after the game, like on deadline and stuff like that. And, the first game I covered was Michigan State, Michigan. And I think there was a Wi-Fi issue at the Final Horn, and he just dropped a few MFers and a few other words that I don't think I can say right now.
You can say anything here, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I'm like, is this how it is every game? It's not like that every game. And I've learned there is something to love about Solari and his little quirks and the way that he is. He's a special human. And honestly, everyone. Oh yes, Graham too. Obviously, special human. But everyone on the beat has been very kind, and we're very welcoming and answered any of my silly questions or when I'm trying to figure out a place to eat and stuff like that. So
I knew it was going to be a good fit with you when because there are two ways. Like Solari's got a heart of gold, and you if you're annoyed by his quirks like that or when he goes off, then you can or you find him entertaining. And you immediately, I could tell, found him entertaining. And once that was, I was like, this is going to be good. This is going to be a fun group to hang with. It'll be okay. I will. What were your impressions of Izzo? And
okay, so yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Your impressions of Izzo when you began and as you leave and wherever you're going there. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. The first time I actually talked to Izzo was on the phone. I was doing a Draymond Green feature the summer before I took over the Michigan State beat, and so Mex was the guy that was coordinating it and told me like, oh, Tom only has 10 minutes. So don't go long. But Tom clearly didn't have 10 minutes. He had like 45. And by the end of it, I didn't even know what we were talking about. Like we got so far off of the story that I initially called him about, but it was a great conversation. And before the season started, I sat down with him in his office for like 35 minutes. I thought I was going to do this interview to set up the season, and I don't think I could use half of what we ended up talking about. But I think I always appreciated his availability and his willingness to keep his program open and let players speak and stuff like that. I think sometimes it's interesting to see the politics of it all, right? Like how he might phrase something and you can tell certain things he says, he's saying it on purpose, and I'm thinking about after the Minnesota loss specifically, I can't remember exactly what he said, but you knew what he was talking about.
He was talking about Hogard. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so, leaving, I was sad, I was really looking forward to another year of covering Michigan State basketball, especially I just feel like this team has a different vibe than last year. And I think that, they might, I'm not going to make any proclamations that they're going to do anything big or crazy, but there definitely feels like this is a team that's a little bit more grounded and well-rounded. And so, I was really looking forward to just another year on the beat, another year of getting to, be around Izzo and the team and telling good stories.
One of my favorite stories about you is early on, one of the first things you covered was the Champions Classic last year. Mm-hmm. And after the game, it's sort of a harried mess. We're all getting to the post game at different times and whatever. And we may have missed, I think we both missed the beginning of Izzo. And you asked me, has anybody asked Izzo yet about why he can't beat Duke or something along those lines, or why he struggles to beat Duke, which I know is just one of those lightning rod things he does not want to get into. And it's been an issue for a long time. And I just remember telling you, no, it's all yours. And right away, and you asked it, and he was not thrilled, but we got a good answer out of it. And one of the best things you brought to the beat that I think is always healthy is this fresh outside, fearless perspective. And sometimes when you've been covering a team for 10, 12 years, you no longer think something is interesting, but you forget your audience turns over. You forget a lot of questions haven't actually been answered. And I thought you brought that. The MSU football team, you've covered just some largely awful football times for Michigan State. This year, things look a little up. The last 2 games, not so much. What is your best guess? And I know you're doing some writing this week, sort of on them at the midpoint. And what is your best guess about where this season goes from here?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, if I'm being totally honest. I think that, looking at the way that Michigan's been playing, I do think that could be an interesting game. But just with how Illinois and Indiana, even Iowa, they have a really tough schedule here. I think it's one of the toughest. When it came out, it was one of the toughest in the Big Ten, and that's proved to be true just with how everything shook out to this point. But, I think the biggest thing is that you have to find the small growth that maybe it doesn't show up in the win column by any means, but just, is Aiden Chiles making better decisions? Is he setting his footing better, when he's making a throw and stuff like that? Is the defense, making big plays and limiting the explosive plays on a consistent basis? Are they not missing tackles? Are they cleaning up the penalties? That's the thing that's gonna define success in the second half. And then also Jonathan Smith can't lose the locker room, and the team can't lose their confidence and believing that they can compete. Because obviously everyone's going to say, "Oh yeah, we believe that we can compete with anybody." But there's a difference between saying that and actually feeling it. And I think I came in at the middle of last season when things were already off the rails. And it just felt like there was a lot of people saying stuff, and you believe some of them, but I don't know if I believe everyone that sat up at the podium and said, "We're going to fight. We got this." I don't know if that makes sense, but
100%.
That's kind of my outlook for the second half. Is what John Smith has to do. He can't lose the locker room, and the guys can't lose their confidence, and they got to look through. They have to look through the end result and look at the middle ground, and that's where you're going to see progress, success.
Well, Maddie, I look forward to the next time I see you, probably the Rutgers game. I think I will send you a Chelsea football club jersey just to piss James off, and was a massive Tottenham fan, and we will miss you. You were the on our LSJ softball team, which I know she worked for the Detroit News, but nobody on the LSJ softball team actually works at the LSJ other than me. But she was the best walker and base runner. I've never seen anybody more willing to walk to run the bases than Maddie. So appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Look forward to seeing you too. And by the way, my on-base percentage was crazy. But yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
No, it was amazing. I was. A lot of people just want to swing regardless because they're playing to have fun. You were like, no, we're, that's part of the reason we won the title. So very much appreciated.
Of course.
Talk to you soon. That is Madeline.
Dropping MFers now?
Madeline Kenney, still with the Detroit News through this week, and then we'll see where she heads.
Oh man,
how you doing?
I didn't know that was James. They were dating, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
good for her. James is a good guy.
Yeah, no, it's.
I can't believe she had to deal with you guys.
Yeah, no, it was.
My God.
Now she's got to deal. Just
I love
with
her
James.
description of Solari, though. I'm like, is that a lot of people how they describe Solari of having to deal with him? I've heard a lot of things. Get kind of angry. I understand what he's saying. When the internet goes out and you're just like, bang. I get that anger.
We've all had those moments where you just go and.
But it's funny when Solari does it.
100%. Because he just loses it.
Yeah.
And I also get it. You need the internet to work on deadline. If that's the time the internet goes out,
or an hour before a Tigers playoff game.
Whatever. Yeah, you just. Yeah, no, gonna miss. One of the great things about covering Michigan State is we have just had, going back to when, I started covering it and Joe was there and Charbonneau and
Hondo and
good old days. Category. But there's been a good crew of people to travel with and hang with. You're competitive with. Don't get me wrong. One of the things I liked about Madeline coming in is she was somebody who brought in a fresh perspective. She was fearless. She would compete. She would get stories that you thought, shoot, I should have done that. That's what you want. You want somebody who keeps you a little on edge, and we'll see where they go from here at the Detroit News. We will take a really quick break, and then we'll come back and pick some games with Harry and then do your Groovy Donut Twitter questions a little later. Couch in the Rube, presented, as always, by Pure Options, precision-crafted cannabis. Go to pureoptions.com, download the Pure Perks loyalty program, download the app, and also Front 43 and Cask & Company, great place to watch games this weekend, Tigers games, football games, anytime, along with Firekeepers, iCasino, and Sportsbook app. And if you're looking for the Sportsbook in-house experience, for a Tigers game, for a football weekend with Michigan and Michigan State off, whenever it might be. Firekeepers on I-94 in Battle Creek, Daisy's Taproom and Sportsbook. Fantastic spot. We'll be right back.
Hey, sports fans, are you tired of the same old routine? Looking for a way to unwind after a long day? Look no further than Pure Options, the premier destination for all of your cannabis needs in Lansing, Detroit, Muskegon, and Mount Pleasant. Whether you're cheering for the Lions, Spartans, or the Wolverines, Pure Options has everything you need to elevate your game day experience. Mention Couch the Rube when you visit Pure Options and get a Pro Grow 8th with a $50 purchase. It's our way of saying thank you for being a loyal listener. Swing by Pure Options today and elevate your cannabis experience to a whole new level. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. From your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen, Bar, or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing.
Find Couch and the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch and the Rube, presented by Pure Options Precision Crafted Cannabis, and our Wednesday show brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar, along with Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. It is time now for the great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, The Ringer, and BetOnline.com. Harry, brother, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How about those Tigers, huh? That was fantastic.
It's so much fun. It's just, you know.
Hakuna Anatida, Bo Beriski.
You know, Jay, earlier this week, Jay told me, he sent me a text. He's like, get on a plane, get out here. I thought about it.
Dude,
I
let's
really
go.
thought about it. If I could have, I would have. If it was weekend, I might be there.
It's just so unexpected, you know, and it was interesting. I was listening to
and by the way, not to cut you off, Graham, but I did hear today when I was driving around here in Scottsdale, and I did hear that it was the biggest crowd ever for a postseason game for the Tigers, which made it sound like even that much more special.
That's incredible. You got to think. I mean,
Wait till tomorrow.
they add seats. Yeah, the Rube's going to be there tomorrow.
I'll be there, yeah.
No, I mean, I was listening to your cohort, Cousin Sal and Bill on their Sunday night, and they were talking about postseason baseball and what it does to you for the month that your team is engaged. Like it changes everything. Like it changes your plans, it changes your vibes, it changes your heart rate. Like it's really cool. And this is so unexpected too, that it takes it being unexpected takes some of the pressure off too. I think this doesn't feel like a team that this has to be the World Series team. There's pressure, there's fun. You're nervous for them, but it's not the same as it would be if this was like a 100-win team that, you know, had four.
That's what I mean. Bill Simmons was rooting for those 100-win Red Sox teams,
That's true,
Harry.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you know, this Tigers team was dead in the water. We were talking all year long about the over-under and like that. It's just crazy to see this team in October. It's just
Harry, I nearly at the All-Star break, I nearly put like $2,000 on the under. Like when they started,
what?
Because
what kind of bankroll do you have?
They
What's going on
I don't. My whole thing was I thought it was the safest, best bet in the history of the world. When at one point their over/under got up to 80.5 at the midpoint of the All-Star break, and I thought there is no way this team's getting that. Maybe I should do it. I didn't do it. I'm grateful I didn't do it because I would have been the worst sweat in the world, and then I would have lost. And I would have not been able to enjoy it. But it was one of those
you
moments.
do say bet your mom's house. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I haven't thought like that since I was like 2009. But all of a sudden I was like, maybe I should do this, and that's again.
It would have been great for the show. I mean,
oh god,
bad for your bankroll.
Yeah, it would have been really.
3 weeks ago, guys. 3 weeks ago, we were. I brought it up to you guys. It's 12-1 just to make the playoffs. At the 3 weeks ago, and look what's going on here. And you know, and Scooble's been unbelievable. I mean, this guy is. It's actually and I would imagine you guys probably agree with me here that, like, with this, I kind of wish that, and just being a baseball fan, that it is what it is in this first round. You know, the better team gets the 3 games at home, and I like how that goes. But I still think this should be 7. I don't think this should be 5 games.
100%.
But 5 games in this series for Detroit favors Detroit because you get Skubal twice. The guy's untouchable, and you only got to win one of the games.
And you got all these extra days off. And no, we've talked about this also. Like, at some point, I won't like this. This year, it completely favors the Tigers. And look, I look at it as sort of making things right for the 2006 Cardinals, because the Tigers were hot coming out of that, and then they fell apart when there was like a 47-week break before the World Series or something like that, and lose to an 83-win Cardinals team. If you have set it up, if you built a roster, and it makes that has 4 good starters, but you got to face Skubal twice in the best of 5 series, it's like, what the hell? I totally get that. I think the ALCS and the World Series are a little more best of 7, not quite as many days off. I do think it'll be harder for the Tigers to get through but their bullpen's pitching like they did today. Who the hell knows?
Right, their bullpen's unbelievable. 19 straight innings that Cleveland hasn't scored a run, and if you look. Whoever you play, if you do get through this and you play the Yankees or you play Kansas City, Bobby Witt isn't hitting right now. And if the way A.J. Hinch is doing this, pitcher after pitcher after pitcher, and whether a guy goes 1 1/3, you bring in the next guy, he doesn't care. And the way he does it, Yankees can't produce runs really without hitting home runs. So if they're not hitting home runs, you got a great shot there too.
I want to ask you, Jason has not really a dilemma tomorrow, but he's got tickets, and he bought them at face value. Now the resale value is at least more than double that, right? It's.
I could get 1,000 for both of them.
Both of them,
I
right?
think.
So the question is: have you ever been in a situation where you've chosen the money over experience for something like this?
I have been in that spot. I have not done it.
Okay. Yeah.
I could when I went to in 2007, 2008. I had tickets. And I went to that -6-degree game because I'm a New York Giants fan. I went to Giants Packers in Green Bay, and I bought the tickets at face value for $500.
We were both there.
I could have got them. I could have got them for $1,500. And what the heck? I mean, -6 degrees. Let's go. Who cares? Let's do it. And it was a blast.
I don't know how it was. To me, I was in the press box. The walk from where I had to park, which was like a mile, was not a blast. Like, I don't know how anybody stayed outside.
Yeah, but you're a sports writer, though.
That's true. That's fair enough. I was not.
Any adversity, these guys are pissed.
Me and my buddy parked at somebody's backyard where they were allowed. They parked in the car there, parked in their backyard, and that was, if you remember, that was the first year of iPhones. So it was so cold. I remember walking back to our car freezing, but we were so excited, me and my buddy, that everyone's iPhone wasn't working. It was so cold. It was just like froze. But and then once after like an hour, you got back to the hotel or whatever. Then it started getting back on. But still, it was wild. It was fun. But you know what? I had a chance to make $1,000. But you know what? Nah, we might.
Yeah, but Harry, if the cash was in front of you, like tomorrow, if someone handed me $2,000 and said I want those tickets, and then we sneak in afterwards, buy maybe a ticket in. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I would go.
You got to be loving it tomorrow. It's going to be a blast. I'm sure the weather's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
You know what?
Some places probably going to be loud as hell. It's going to be awesome.
You know what you need to do, Harry? You tell Ken that Bruce Springsteen there's a possibility he's going to be there tomorrow. He'll get up his private jet going, and you guys will be there by 5 o'clock. We'll be hammering weed outside. It'll be great.
Oh, great!
Tell Ken, let's go.
Oh man, pure options in the Tigers. It'll be beautiful.
Soda's on the way in.
All right, let's get into some games and some bets. Before we do the football, you've got a couple things, hockey bets that you like, right? Let's get into these because these are season bets that people need to jump on if they're going to do it.
By the way, it was interesting last night, guys. I don't know if you checked out any of it, but it was just it's been a night. It was a nightmare here with the Coyotes. Just everything was run so badly and poorly. It sucked, and then they're now in Utah. And just seeing the Delta Center last night, that place was like a playoff atmosphere for the Utah hockey team right now, and it was pretty cool to see. It kind of sucked it didn't work here, but Yeah, but still, at least those players had a great game and a great opening game there, and they deserve to be able to play somewhere that basically a town is going to appreciate them, and now they're in Salt Lake City, so that looks good. But, yeah, I got a couple prop bets here, and I know you guys got tons of hockey fans, too. So the team that I do like that I'm going to give out, we're taping against all odds after the Yankee game tonight, and we're going to do some hockey picks as well, like I said. So my team to win the whole thing, I'm going to take the Rangers, guys, at 13-1, a pretty good odds considering the Rangers did end the regular season last year with the most points, 114 in the league. They were second in each conference in goals scored. Goalie-wise, Igor Shesterkin is one of the best, and just in case they have Jonathan Quick for a backup who won a ring with the Kings. Offensively, they returned 5 players who had 70-plus points, and that includes left winger Artemi Panarin, who had 71 assists and 120 total points, and I also like him to have to award at least 100 points this year. Like I just said, he had 120 at minus 140. And New York has made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, guys, 2 times in the last 3 years. And last year they just happened to run into a buzzsaw that was the Florida Panthers. So 13-1, I think, is solid value for a solid squad that they have. And I also like, guys, like I said, I like the Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning, to go under 98.5 points if you can get at that. Still, everyone out there at minus 111. 2 seasons in a row, the Lightning have landed on 98, but Tampa Bay fizzled out in the season, in the end of the season last year, and was bounced in 5 games in the first round of the playoffs. I just think after a tremendous run, this team is getting older, and they continue to drop off. Victor Hedman turns 34 soon. Ryan McDonough, who they got out of Nashville, is 35, and most importantly, goalie Andrei Vasilevsky is entering his 11th season and is coming off his, you wouldn't think this, but he is coming off his worst goals against average and save percentage in his career. I'm going under.
That's beautiful. That's just what I need to be sweating out the Lightning, and in like April, I'll be like, fucking Harry, I need this loss tonight.
$2,000 on the
under. All right, let's get into some football. And just so you know, our friend Ryan Speaks, a show listener, has been keeping track of the 3 of us. Eric Schultz keeps track of the overall Couch in the Rube Pick'em with all the fans, and I'll have that posted later. We love Eric. Eric is the godfather around here. But Ryan has been keeping track, and this is why you should follow Harry. On the season, the college and pro games we picked, he's at 60%.
Damn.
32-21. So I'm telling you, like, if you're
Harry's surprised.
Yeah, if you're just tailing Harry, you're making money. I'm 29-24. Jason's 27-26. We're all over 500, so we're not doing badly. But that anyway.
Is that football only?
This is just football. Yeah, this is just football.
Not our lock soccer picks. Then.
No,
nobody can keep track of those 9-hour parlay things.
I won last week's parlay. I was pretty.
Graham, I was going to mention I did go 3 out of 4 somehow. The San Jose game only landed 1-0. I don't know, whatever.
Fuck San Jose.
We'll keep it rolling when we can.
Was that minus 607?
Maybe you do.
I love you guys with your soccer parlays.
Got no soccer. Yeah, no soccer this week.
No, it's the freaking international break. Freaking international break. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. The only thing I do is I root against the U.S. team, and I root for just because I don't know.
Nothing is as bad as the World Cup break, though.
Yeah, but that's in the
4
summer.
years.
Usually. That's usually in the summer. Usually in the summer. So
it's enough soccer for me.
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah. Hey, I won one of the best bets I won all summer was Panama plus like 850 beating the U.S. in the Copa America. That was real all over Panama on that one. So, all right, let's get into the football games.
Yeah.
Washington +3 at Iowa. Interesting game for MSU fans who will see Iowa a week later. And a Washington team that's very vulnerable, not that great, obviously beat Michigan at home last week. Iowa coming off a game where they were in it at halftime with Ohio State, but not really in it. Like, it was like you never thought they were actually going to be in it.
Because they couldn't score.
Yeah, because they can't score. Like, I think this is a really competitive game. I don't think they're going to blow out Washington. And I wouldn't bet it either way. But for the purposes here, I do like Washington if you're giving me 3 points in what I think will be a competitive game down to the wire. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, it's a fade for me, boys, just because whenever I see Iowa now, Harry, I'm so spiteful, and I despise Kirk Ferentz in Iowa. But for this, give me Washington plus the 3. What do you like?
Well, you remember, guys, last week I finally had a game. I finally had a college game that I loved. It was my play of the year as of right now, and it was Washington over Michigan because I just knew that Michigan cannot pass the ball, and they weren't able to really last week either. So in this spot, though, I still, even though I won that game and covered, Washington didn't look as good as I thought they would. I thought they had I was really upset watching that game in terms of almost at halftime when they really messed up, when they could have definitely had a couple extra plays. Time management was screwed up. They had to settle for a field goal, and it got blocked. So now having to win, after winning that game, having to travel to Iowa City here, Iowa was only down 7-0 at half to Ohio State. Yeah. I'm going to give the Hawkeyes a shot. I'm going to lay the 3.
But that is my nerves of the travel, and just from talking to people, how much the travel is impacting teams. And teams are traveling early. They're starting to grumble about it, and the teams west starting to come east more and more. I mean, that is my concern.
What time is this game? It's not a night game, right?
No, it's not. All right, hold on one second. Give me. Oh, Jesus. It's a noon game.
Start it over.
I'm going to take Iowa. I can't take Washington at noon. I got to see them coming. Are you staying with Washington?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going Iowa. I'm flipping mine.
That's 9 a.m. Iowa time. 9 a.m. Seattle time.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, it's 11 a.m. Iowa time, which is too early. It's not great. All right, Penn State -5.5 at USC. James Franklin complaining about the travel. They're leaving Thursday. He doesn't like the short runway in State College. Hey, guess what? I love that airport. It's very easy to get into when they have, if you're on one of the 4 flights that goes there a week. I don't think USC is very good, and I think Penn State is better than them. And I do think Penn State, I don't trust Penn State to bury teams that they should beat by big spreads, but I think they're significantly better than USC as a team. And this is under 7. I know it's at the Coliseum. I think Penn State will be up and ready for it. This one, I know they're going west. They're going west on Thursday. Give me Penn State here. Jason, where are you?
James Franklin and traveling problems. Love that. As much as I want to spite bet Franklin here, Harry, I just can't do it. The 5.5, they're just trying to get you into the USC. They're trying to talk you into it, thinking USC at home. I'm with you, Graham. I think USC is ass. I know Penn State hasn't been covering lately. I think they cover this pretty easily. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, I'm taking the Nittany Lions as well. Miller Moss having some problems. I think, to use your term, Jay, I think Lincoln Riley is asked, what's he ever done? What has he ever really done? And don't forget, guys, before the season started, the team I gave out to win the entire thing was Penn State at 20-1. They're up to 4th in the country right now. I know they really haven't played a tough schedule. They haven't played anyone really tough here. But still, I like this offense overall. Taking Penn State, covering, bad loss for USC last week against the Golden Gophers. I don't think they rebound from that.
All right, Florida +15.5 at Tennessee. I think this is Florida or Tennessee's young quarterback bound to have that week that he had at Arkansas. It is what it is. I still really like this Tennessee team. It's one of the things I like about the new playoff system is that you can have a week on the road in the SEC where shit goes wrong and it doesn't put all the pressure to be perfect the rest of the way. Florida's I don't like this Florida team. I mean, I know they're coming off a win against a not a great UCF team at home. 15.5 here is a big number, but I think Tennessee's going to get right at home. I think they're going to be really good. The number is they're trying to put it up there and bait you into Florida, I think. I'm not going to be scared. Give me Tennessee. They've been my favorite team all year. They had 1 week where they were off course. I'm not going to abandon them now. Give me the Tennessee.
And does this have anything to do with that you're really high on Tennessee?
I'm really high on Tennessee.
Really high on Tennessee because I'm with you. On Florida +15.5. Florida looked good.
Rivalry game. Yep.
The past 2 weeks at Mississippi State and like Graham said, UCF last week. I just think there's just too many points. I think Tennessee wins this game. I don't think it's ever in doubt. But that 15 and a hook just seems too heavy for me. Give me Florida. What do you got?
I don't know, guys. I think after what happened last week against Arkansas, Razorbacks controlled. That was one of my picks too. If you remember my Sharp Tank pick, I really liked Arkansas over Tennessee. This Tennessee team, since playing a lot of these cupcakes and playing in their conference, not a lot of offense. Really, not a lot of offense here. Nico hasn't been great. Look at his numbers. He was great against the scrubs, Kent State and Tennessee Tennessee Chat Moccasins, but not great. And Florida does have the toughest schedule in the country. You look at what the risk schedule is for Florida; it's unbelievable. And they did pull off that win against Central Florida last week. They were an underdog. Billy Napier's still having this team fight. I'm going to take more than 2 touchdowns here, guys. Give me the Gators.
See, now I don't feel great about it, but I've liked this Tennessee team so much until last week, and now, I didn't actually see the game against Arkansas. I just read about it, and now I'm nervous. But
I mean, you can still like Tennessee, just not to cover the spread. I guess.
I'm taking Tennessee here. I'm staying with them.
Mm.
Okay. Game of the year maybe until Ohio State, Michigan, but Michigan's going to get drilled by Ohio State. So Ohio State -3 at Oregon, and I don't know who's better here. We've just seen these two teams the last 2 weeks, those of us who follow and cover Michigan State. But Oregon was more impressive against MSU than Ohio State was. Now, it was in Oregon, coming off a short week, a night game, 5 days to prepare. You're flying out west. The defense kind of broke down a little bit. So there were variables that may have led to that. And I don't love Dylan Gabriel at quarterback for Oregon. But I'm not a huge Will Howard guy. I do like Ohio State's weapons a little more, but
Are you going to say it could go either way? Is that what that whole thing was?
No. My point is, Oregon at home is a home dog right now. I'm taking them the way they look right now, and Ohio. I could be wrong on this, but this is enough juice for me. Ohio State could be good enough to beat them by 10 points, 15 points, whatever. They could be just that much better. I like Oregon here. I'll probably sprinkle a little even on the money line, but I love it getting the 3. Jason, where are you?
But I still think Ohio State wins this game. So if you're going to bet the money line for Ohio State -142, I just love Oregon, like you said, at home getting the 3 points, Harry. So give me Oregon +3, but I think Ohio State still wins this game by 1. What do you got?
You know what? Well, I prepared for this game knowing that at least yesterday, you guys said it's 3. I hear you, but I was preparing for this game at 3.5. Because it was yesterday. And let me just say that I'll take the 3, but let me just tell you guys what I'm going to use on against the odds tonight too when we cover this game, because Sal and I are covering this game. The other guys are covering 2 other games with Sal. I think this has a lot of history here on this side because first off, the Ducks have not lost by more than 4 points in their last 31 games overall. Second, the last time they lost by 4 or more at home with a 7-point overtime loss to Stanford in 2018. That's a span of 36 games. And Herbert didn't play that game. He was injured, so the backup quarterback had to play for the Ducks. And third, since 2017, a span of 42 games, the Ducks only lost by more than 4 one time at home. And, yes, I hear what you're saying, Jay. Ohio State, very tough, and they're a different animal. But you guys I'm sure you guys remember in 2021, Oregon went to the Horseshoe in Columbus as a 14-point dog and won that game 35-28. C.J. Verdell had a monster day for Oregon that day, 3 rushing touchdowns. So I know you mentioned, Graham, don't love Dylan Gabriel right now, but big game for him. He's 14-1 for the Heisman still. He's like 4th. He has a big game. He has 330 yards. He has 3-4 touchdowns, and he wins this game. He's back in the talk of it. And again, like I said, only up 7-0 Ohio State last week against Iowa at home, and they've beaten nothing but cupcakes.
Yeah, and I like Oregon's defensive front, I think, against Ohio State's offensive line. If Dylan Gabriel wins the Heisman over Travis Hunter, then the Heisman is done. Like I've already said, the AP polls, the Heisman is just done. Like the shame we should. We should by name shame people one by one by one by one by one. Like I am sorry, that is ass.
I'm sitting. By the way, guys, I'm sitting on 2 very nice size tickets on Henry at 20-1, and now he's 3-1.
Damn.
You mean Travis Hunter? You mean right?
Oh, Travis Hunter. Yeah, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, no, I get the name mixed up too. Yeah, no, I have one nice ticket on Travis Hunter too. I didn't realize it moved up to 3-1, but yeah, I mean, just for a while it was sitting there like plus, like just huge numbers. Plus,
I still have my Travis Hunter ticket.
Amazing.
I still have my
from my house.
Sorry, guys. I still have my Travis Hunter ticket from last year though. I was jumping on it way early last year.
It's no good. That doesn't work. You can't take
that up.
You can't take that in. Okay, NFL games. Lions -3 at the Cowboys. Lions 3-point favorite in Dallas. I wouldn't touch this, but and Dallas obviously played found some mojo and Dak played well against Pittsburgh and all that stuff. Lions coming off a bye week, which you have to like in terms of health and all that stuff. I don't trust threes on the road. I just don't trust it. I still don't. I'll get there with these Lions, but watching the NFL the way it's been with underdogs, the Cowboys being a competent underdog and being home, I'm not going to bet against the Lions. But if I had to take something here, I would take the Cowboys. Jason, where are you?
Oh, Brisky. I think it's because of our linebackers, Harry, is the reason why this spread is kind of weird. I just think that Dak Prescott, he's going to be a problem all day. I think he's going to pick on our linebackers. CeeDee Lamb is still scary. So I think the Lions win this game. I don't know about giving 3, maybe some money line action. What do you got?
I'm taking the Lions. I mean, Dallas. A lot of stuff last week in that game. That was wild. The storm and then pulling it out at the end. I get it, but still, Dak overall had 2 picks. One was real bad. 3 total turnovers. I just can't. And Dallas still has injuries defensively. I just don't see the Detroit offense getting shut down by Dallas. I could possibly even see. I know Dallas pulled that game out, but I could see this being like. Basically, remember earlier in the season what New Orleans did in Dallas. I think Detroit is totally capable of doing the same thing. They are fantastic on offense. Everything looks good. Go into Dallas, take care of your business, and blow out Dallas. I'm taking the Lions big.
Oh, boy. See, yeah.
We should let Harry go first.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know why we go first.
I don't know either.
But because we just picked what he picked. That'd be the problem. We'd start all of a sudden be like, we had the same thing again. Amazing. That's
60%, man.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Commanders plus 6.5 at the Ravens. This should be a fun game. Obviously Jaden Daniels has been terrific. And the Ravens last week looked tremendous. Like, this is a fun game all around. And I know Baltimore's home, and 6.5 is a big number in the NFL. I do think this is a game where a rookie quarterback, he's going to have a day at some point where things go wrong. The Ravens have found their stride inside of a touchdown. It's a lot of points. I'm not going to be afraid of it, though. Give me the Ravens right now. I think they're good against good teams. Jason, where are you?
I don't like that we agree because I'm with you. Jaden Daniels has to slow down at some point. At Baltimore, Zach Orr's going to have something. John Harbaugh's going to have something for those guys, Harry. And I don't think 6.5. It looks scary, but I'm not scared of it. Give me the Ravens. What do you got?
I hear you guys. What you're saying about Daniels got to slow down. He's going to have a game where maybe he just makes mistakes and it just doesn't go well for Washington. But I was not impressed, even though season was basically on the line for Cincy last week, and Burrow had 5 touchdowns. Chase had 193 yards. I was not impressed with the Baltimore defense one bit, and really should have lost that game. Washington is second in the NFL in point differential at plus 40. 6.5 points. This offense is rolling. I can't do it. I'm taking the 6.5.
I don't blame you. The way they're playing, and what was the year that it was at Ben Roethlisberger? The year that the Steelers were just really good. You kept thinking with a rookie quarterback back then, they went all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, at some point, it's not going to. This just doesn't happen. And then and he wasn't playing as well as Daniels is right now, I don't think. But
it's just the Commanders' defense, right? Like, I think
is a bad
Daniels
defense.
Can still have a good game, but
it's
I just
bad
think
defense. You're right. Yeah. I don't know. It's yeah.
I'm not saying you guys are crazy.
No. All right, Bengals -3 at Giants. I like this game a lot. I know the Giants just went and beat Seattle. There's some interesting stats, and I wish to credit the person I saw this, but I can't do it right now because I don't remember it. But on teams after they play the Lions, how bad they are and how much the Lions beat up on teams. And Seattle's beat up itself. The Giants played tremendous, but the Giants are still. Like, the Bengals are 1-4, still decent odds to make the playoffs, which I think is a little, there's no value in right now. But to me, I think the Bengals need this. 3 doesn't scare me. I think they get this one. Jason, where are you?
Yeah, I see this one at 3.5. I don't like it at all. I think the Bengals' backs are up against the wall. Obviously, with their record, their offense is still unbelievable, Harry. I think they win this game, but give me the Giants getting the points. What do you got?
Boy, that was something last week, the Giants. I mean, amazing that, that, by the way, that cost me on my Sharp Tank, guys. After I gave out, Arkansas, I gave out Washington over Michigan, and I had just the Seahawks to win on the money line. I don't understand. Like, I couldn't understand that. Like, it just didn't, none of it fit. Neighbors didn't play. Singletary didn't play. past 2 years, the Giants had gotten steamrolled by Seattle, and Jones had been sacked 15 times in those 2 games. It's made no sense. This dude Tracy comes out of nowhere. He has 129 yards. He had 28 yards for the whole season so far. But here he is, and so that really disappointed me. But I just think coming back here, the Bengals aren't done just yet. I mean, I think there's too much offense here overall. I don't love their defense, the Bengals, but I don't know if the Giants can put offensive game like that again. How they structured their offense last week. They had nice drives. I just don't think Seattle's heads were in the game. It just didn't. I didn't feel it from the get-go, even when they returned that fumble to start the game and take a 7-0 lead from 102 yards. I'm just going to have a little bit more faith here in Chase, a little more faith in Burrow. I think it's too much offense. Giants aren't going to be able to keep up to Cincy.
Last one on our docket, and then Harry's got another play here. Bills -2 at Jets. Interesting game. Primetime game. This is the Monday night game, I believe. It's Sunday. It's a Monday night game, right? Yeah. You get Robert Saleh being fired. How good right now is Aaron Rodgers? The Bills didn't have a great week last week, but have been playing pretty well. -2.5 against the Jets in New York or in New Jersey, whatever. I'm going to take the Bills here because I don't know what's going inside. Right? Are the Jets going to be galvanized by this? Are they good enough to be galvanized by it? The Bills have shown me a lot more so far this year, so -2.5. I'm just going to stick by what I've seen. Jason, where are you?
I mean, we really shocked Harry when Saleh was going in for Rodgers, like a hug. That one was a couple of weeks ago, and he got pushed away. He's like, the guy's dead in the water right there. You can't have your quarterback pushing the coach on national TV. I don't trust the Bills here. That's the problem. Monday night, you got a new coach in New York, +2.5. I just don't. McDermott last week against the Texans, Harry, it just scares me. Give me the Jets. What do you like?
Jay, it's funny you said that. That was really the beginning of the end, wasn't it? Because I watched, I'm scrolling around on TikTok the other day, and I'm just watching that video, and you look at Aaron Rodgers' eyes when he's looking at Saleh when the hug didn't really it didn't finish, and it's just like, boy, this guy is something else. This is going bad, and it has.
It's always bad when the hug doesn't finish. We've all been there. Right. We've all gone in for the It
was like me hugging my stepson on Christmas Day or something. He's like, "What are you doing? Don't be weird." I was 25 when you met me.
But again, I'm not going to give. I think I think Saleh should have probably been fired after the losing to Denver when Bo Nix has -7 yards passing at halftime, and sometimes somehow you still lose that game. But to fire him here, it's crazy, isn't it? Because if somehow and you're right right now, Jay. I don't trust the Bills either. I don't trust the Bills offense. I don't trust the Bills wide receivers. I don't trust McDermott. That was awful last week at the end of the game. And it's crazy, though, because if the Jets were to somehow win this game by tiebreak, they're in first place in the East, which is nuts. So I hear you. I don't trust the Bills. I just, I'm going to take the Bills because I like Josh Allen. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and that's that.
And can you blame Woody Johnson for trying to make a change here? He knows he has Aaron Rodgers for a short amount of time, and Saleh, he knew it wasn't going to be a long-term thing. I think it's a little early, but I just don't blame him if you have that in your gut to go for it.
Right, but I will say this, that I think, you just went to London, you come back, you have this game on Monday, you got an extra couple days to prepare, at least an extra day to prepare it, and I don't know, I think you still give Saleh one chance on Monday night, and if you lose that game, he's gone. But it didn't happen. But again, listen, Aaron Rodgers. Was it Saleh's fault that he airmailed that interception? Was it Saleh's fault that he threw it right to Van Ginkel for a pick six? Right. He's not playing great either. He's going to be 41 in December. I just have more faith in Josh Allen. I guess that's that.
Yeah, no, I think the Jets are just desperate right now. You feel that, because they're going to have to figure out another thing at quarterback soon, and they got a good defense, and you got a window with that group. And you also like San Francisco Thursday night, and you have a player prop as well.
Yeah, let's check this out. I'm wondering what you guys are thinking too. San Fran is -3.5 in Seattle. I think this is a phony spread line. San Francisco favored of more than 3 in the division versus the home team that leads the division. Plus, San Francisco's wins are against the 1-4 Pats, and San Fran had 2 turnovers in that game, and versus the Jets, who we just mentioned, fired their coach. And on top of that, San Francisco's 0-2 in the NFC West. So off of that, I'm still going to take the Niners for one reason, and that's what Brock Purdy has done to Seattle in his career. Laying the 3.5. He just has the Seahawks number. He's 4-0 career against them. 3 of those 4 have been by double digits. One of them a playoff game where he won 41-23. He's got 9 touchdowns total in those 4 games to just 2 picks. I mentioned 3 of those 4 games were won by double digits. And in those 4 games, Purdy was sacked 6 times. Seattle quarterbacks were sacked 16 times. I think it continues. I'm going to take San Fran in the phony line. And this is for you, Jay. This is a great number here. I'm going to take, ready for this one? I'm going to take the running back for the San Francisco 49ers to score the first touchdown. Jordan Mason at plus, what else? But plus 420. I'm going back to a running back. Since week 1, I picked the wrong one. Wide receiver. I picked the wide receiver last week on against all odds in the Tampa Bay game against Atlanta. But again, Mason has been fabulous for San Francisco at plus 420. How can I pass on that, boys? How can I pass on that number? And Mason has found the end zone in 3 of his first 5 games, filling in for McCaffrey. Jordan Mason, first touchdown, guys, at plus 420. Weed sodas for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. You said you had a teaser as well, or are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, keep rolling. I'm here. I got.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, everything you're going to give with Cousin Sal, let's just take it here. So yeah, we'll take.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. 7-point teaser. Again, I know we discussed the Oregon game, but I'm seeing 3.5. I'm taking Oregon. I'm just going to say I'm taking Oregon up to 10.5. Still love this game. Ducks since November of 2016 have 1 loss at home by 11 points or more. And also I'm going to take the Arizona Green Bay game to go over 42.5 on a 7-point teaser. Look, the Cards team might not be so bad, guys. Connor, Harrison look good. Kyler Murray, he's got quietly 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's getting 50 yards a game rushing. That's what I've always said he needs to do. He needs to run more. He's averaging almost 11 yards a carry. Arizona as a team is averaging 5.5 yards a carry. And 4 of their first 5 games they've scored in the games 47 points or more. 109 total points have been scored so far in the Cards' first 2 road games this year. 175 total points in the last 3 road games overall. And with Jordan Love at quarterback, the last 12 of 13 games have gone over 42.5 points that he's played in. The only one that didn't was the game last game of the regular season against Chicago that meant nothing to Green Bay.
Harry, you are a beautiful man. We'll be on those with you. You've been rolling at a pretty high clip here. I don't think people realize how hard this is to do at a 60% rate when you're talking major college football in the NFL.
Nice. And I will say this, guys, I'm trying to for Bet Online this week, I'm going to do a video. My video is going to be involving, unfortunately, my arch nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. It's all a mixed sort of thing, Super Bowl stuff. So I'm trying to come up with something. I can't find a Kansas City. I want to have some props. I can't find a Kansas City Chiefs helmet anywhere. I've got a Kansas City shirt. I went to the grocery store. I saw the Kelce Brothers cereal. I bought that. I'll put that in the video too. But I'm trying to find a helmet.
As long as your shirt comes off, we're in. That's usually the that's
right.
Yeah, that's always appreciated.
Don't be weird, Couch.
Sorry, I just made
Ruin
it. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, we look forward to. Yeah, no, we look forward to the Bet Online video. Harry, you're a beautiful man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, man.
Love it, guys. Again, go Lions.
That is the great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, BetOnline.com, and The Ringer.
Restore the roar.
I love, though, if we could put when we've done an interview with Harry at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, if we put those two side by side. I'm the same way, don't get me wrong.
He's
but it just cracks me up.
Night.
Yeah, he's on fire tonight.
I didn't want to he texted that he had a teaser, and he sounded like he was wrapping up, but I was like, he said he had a teaser, so we'll take his teaser. I want to know a teaser. I don't want to, so we'll take
it's okay to ask on the air. What are you going to do?
Why not?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, it.
Shout out to Harry, 60% clip.
Pretty good, pretty damn good. We will take a quick break here. When we come back, your Groovy Donut Twitter question, some really good stuff. We'll get into that to wrap the show and the week. Just a 2-show week because I'm going to be frolicking in Marquette for the rest of it. And then covering Michigan State basketball. Oh, you know it. It'll be a Muskox vibe up in Marquette. Couch in the Rube, presented by our friends at Pure Options, Precision Crafted Cannabis, and our Wednesday evening show brought to you by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen Bar and Firekeepers Casino and iCasino and Sportsbook app.
Hey, sports fans, are you tired of the same old routine? Looking for a way to unwind after a long day? Look no further than Pure Options, the premier destination for all of your cannabis needs in Lansing, Detroit, Muskegon, and Mount Pleasant. Whether you're cheering for the Lions, Spartans, or the Wolverines, Pure Options has everything you need to elevate your game day experience. Mention Couch the Rube when you visit Pure Options and get a Pro Grow 8th with a $50 purchase. It's our way of saying thank you for being a loyal listener. Swing by Pure Options today and elevate your cannabis experience to a whole new level. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF.
Couch in the Rube, presented by Pure Options, Precision Crafted Cannabis, and our Wednesday evening show brought to you by Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. Great place for Tigers games this weekend, games, or a date night, anytime you can imagine. It is a fantastic menu and beer selection. We are going to dive into our Groovy Donut Twitter questions here. Jason, before we do, so I was doing a little research for a piece I'm doing on Tom Izzo and Steve Mariucci and their time at Northern Michigan, up in Marquette. Headed up there this weekend, obviously, and had been, talking to those two guys just about living in a trailer park and, triple bunking, with Mariucci's sister at one point and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Interesting times. And so I'm going through all these newspaper articles, just trying to find things on Izzo and things I haven't known before. And I found something from the last game he played in high school. So this is an article from the Escanaba Daily Press on March 19th, 1973. Do you think sometimes we're hard on college kids?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody write about a high schooler like this. All right? This is the paragraph from the article. A key to the Mountaineers' downfall was the inept performance of guard Tom Izzo in the decisive second half. This is a high school kid. An all-UP and all-tourney pick the past 2 years, the 5'8 guard fell apart in the fourth quarter and took numerous poor shots while trying to get his teammates back in the lead all by himself. The Mountaineers won on team play this year, and Izzo abandoned that strategy when it was needed most. Izzo hit only 4 of 22 field goals.
Why don't you write something? Why don't you write something?
You know why Izzo doesn't like A.J. Hogarth? Because he was A.J. Hogarth. No, I'm kidding.
Column.
Yeah. No, I think that.
But back in the day, you could do that.
Yeah.
Local paper.
Boy,
shit.
I've never, a high school kid, I've taken one shot at a high school girl once when I was writing. I don't think I've told this story. I probably should tell it. So it's just before I've already accepted the job in Kalamazoo at this point. It's right at the end of my time in Freeport. And I'm covering a high school girls game. I think it was like Sterling Newman versus it was Eastland Pearl City. Anyway, two small schools. One team in our coverage area versus some other team like an hour away late in the season. And the other team had this really good center. She was fantastic, and she was the reason they were winning. She was great. Well, they had this little redhead point guard who at one point blew on her nails and then dribbled around, like, real pompous move,
Sure.
And so I wrote in the article that she blew on her nails as if she was the reason they were winning.
Wow.
Tough line. She apparently was in tears. The mother called the paper. It was a bad deal.
Really?
And it was like one of those things where you realize it's time to go start covering college athletes and get out of the high school realm for a little while.
But she was blowing her nails as in like,
I was annoyed
you guys
at her.
can't steal the ball. So
Yeah.
she was doing it with a little bit of swagger.
100%.
Right? Okay, then how can you not handle it?
And I didn't have a problem with that if you're the reason, if you're the star. Like if the center had been doing it, but
Still
it pissed me off, and I couldn't contain myself, and I had to write it.
So you got a call from the parent?
The paper,
like the newsroom?
I think the publisher or somebody got a call from somebody else got a call from the
Your
mom.
attitude must have been so great that day, like walking out of that office.
Yeah, it was
Like, Graham, we need to talk to you.
anyway. That was not one of my best moments. A story worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing, as always. All right, let's dig into these groovy donut Twitter questions. We ready?
We can end the show on that. That was pretty good. Some dude, the most fun is the ascent of the team or program. What does MSU football have to do this year to be considered on the ascent? Is 6-6 good enough?
No. Like you feel the ascent because it's fun. Like last year, MSU hockey is a great example of this. The year before, yes, they were clearly more stabilized. They were competitive. It was more entertaining. They missed the tournament by a single game, but the ascent was last year when they got rolling and right after that Boston College series didn't lose again till regulation, I should say, until January, and then when they lost to Michigan in that 7-1 game, bounced back again, won a Big Ten title, Big Ten tournament title, number 1 seed. Like that's the rise. The rise. The rise. Michigan State basketball in 97-98. The Lions. The year they didn't make the playoffs where they had that run, yes, you can argue that. But you got to have a run. A run isn't 500. You know it when you feel it.
And you need things to happen, right? Like when we beat Green Bay and slaughtered the Aaron Rodgers thing, the Bears game, like you could just feel a vibe.
It's a moment.
Yeah. You can't force it.
2021 could have been that if the Mel Tucker era had just continued on that pace. It also has to continue to be the rise. But, you need a year like that. Like that's a year where it feels like. So 6-6. So in other words, to feel like a rise, they're 3-3 right now, and if they get to 8-4, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they went 5-1 the rest of the way, and Aiden Childs really took a step in terms of not turning the ball over, and he and Nick Marsh become this great connection, and they beat Michigan, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is going somewhere. That you could still have it, but you'd probably have to get to 8 wins to really feel that and say it.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
Matt C. next. If Aiden Childs doesn't show improvement and MSU brings in a quarterback to push him and make it an open competition, does he stay and compete or quit and leave? Keep in mind the best 2 quarterbacks in MSU history, Cousins and Cook, were made out of intense quarterback competitions. And from Andrew Zuiza, if the season were over today, what do you think MSU's quarterback room looks like next year?
Before I answer this question, this is a bye week, so this might be a good week. You might be at a wedding, per se, or something, doing something a little different than your normal college football routine. If you're not watching the Tigers, whatever. But if you are at an event, Groovy Donuts, I'm telling you right now, is great for events, great for a Tigers tailgate or a wedding. They just catered a wedding, and the pictures on their they tweeted out are fantastic. We had donuts at our wedding. I only wish we knew Groovy Donuts because I'm telling you right now, it'll be memorable. People will talk about it for ages, and the quality they have and the presentation they do, it is absolutely fantastic. If you are doing a wedding, go to groovydonuts.com, reach out to Andrew and Monica. If you're doing any event, a tailgate, whatever it might be, groovydonuts.com, or just swing on by, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday through Sunday in East Lansing on Lake Lansing Road and also in Williamston. To answer the question, what do I think the QB room is going to look like, and what should they do, and what would happen if Childs doesn't show improvement and they bring in a QB to push him? Well, you have to bring in another quarterback next year, I think, unless you truly believe one of the freshmen is going to be ready to be that backup. You're going to need another situation like a Tommy Schuster at minimum. I don't think, even if he struggles and they bring in somebody to play, as long as his NIL package is what it is, and he's sort of deemed the starter unless somebody beats him out. Think about what happened with Peyton Thorne and Mel Tucker. That wasn't Peyton Thorne losing the job the reason Peyton Thorne left. That was a communication problem, and that's what annoyed me about that. Like, the way you present the situation to Peyton Thorne could have kept Peyton Thorne around. And whether that was right for the program, who knows, but they would have been better last year with him. And the same thing you could do with Childs. If he really struggles this year and they have a hint of doubt, it is a needle you have to thread, but you don't want him to leave. And so you're trying to bring in another veteran to sort of compete with him, but he's still the guy. And I think the thing that works is, because you do probably need a veteran, and Schuster will be gone, he's expecting you to bring somebody else in, right? And I think that next year, when asked what the quarterback room will look like, I think it's Childs. I think it's at least one of the two freshmen. Who knows if they'll both stick around. And then you're going out to get another veteran who can help you if things go wrong. But all their chips are in on Childs right now. And, to say, what if he doesn't improve? What if it looks really bad at the end of the year? I guess those are questions we can revisit then.
Jebediah, what's more surprising, the Tigers' insane run to the playoffs and beyond, or the fact that 3 of the 4 ALDS teams came from the AL Comedy Central, with another team just missing the playoffs?
It's the Tigers' run to the playoffs. Because, the AL Central, yes, getting good.
It's pretty crazy, though. Both combined, since the Tigers are in the Central, just all of the Central teams. Come on. How many years have we been like, the Central's ass?
Well, and I think even
this year, some of the teams you're like, they're just ass, right? Oh, no, they're actually good. Wait a minute.
It's funny because you're like, in the AL Central, I guess because they're in the Central, and all of a sudden, well, no, the Central is actually a harder division to win. And the weird thing is the White Sox, who like 3-4 years ago looked like the ascending team, are like the worst team in baseball history, and still the division's really good. And, it's been and I think what's interesting about it is it's not a huge market division. Like, the Tigers are actually are really the biggest big market team because Chicago's the second team in Chicago. So when you look at Kansas City and Minneapolis and Cleveland, I think there are interesting ways in the way they built it. Like, Cleveland's bullpen is amazing. Kansas City's turned this around really quickly. I think there are interesting case studies in how it's being done. It'll be interesting to see how sustainable it is.
Mr. Benjen, this is the best Motown sports vibes since when? Probably the early 2010s, right? As the Lions weren't as good as they are now, but Stafford, Calvin Johnson, you had hope.
Yeah,
right? And then the Tigers should have won a World Series.
And it sort of depends what your thing was, because in the late aughts, so to speak, you had the Red Wings still competing for cup titles. You had the Pistons still making conference championships. You had the Tigers as a threat, like with Cabrera in his prime and all that stuff, even when they had a couple of years that weren't great. Although the Lions went 0-16 in 2008. So
I remember.
Yeah, last time
since every game.
This is the best in a long. The fact that this has happened the way it's happened for the Tigers, and the fact that the Lions are the best they've been in our lifetime, changes. It really
not taking it for granted, man.
No,
that's for sure.
Jeez, yeah.
Tyler, how is AJ Hinch so far back in the AL Manager of the Year odds? Is it a Midsummer Award? There are 7 others ahead of him.
It's incredible. I don't really understand this. Yeah, I haven't looked at the odds. I saw the odds posted. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't have to win the award. There can be other people that win it for whatever reason. But how do you not?
But why?
2 months they have. How would you not?
Why would someone else win it though?
Cleveland had a great year, and they weren't expected to.
So
be
it's
good.
a regular season award.
Correct.
Okay.
But they had a great.
Do we
finish.
say that?
Well, it's just a lot of things are. It's like the MVP. It's the regular season award. People know that when they're voting on it.
All right.
But yeah, he should. You can't tell me, if you want to say Cleveland's manager, given they weren't supposed to be any good and they ran away with that division, that's fine. If you want to say, who else was really Kansas City,
So AJ, he'll win the ESPY for best manager.
That's a good question. He
You
should,
know, I mean,
he should
who
be in the
cares
top
anymore?
Yeah.
Detroit Spartan read today's Stallions column. Will CMU ever address this? Will we learn more about the cheating scandal in general, or will these stories fizzle out?
Well, I don't know that I don't think they'll fizzle entirely. No, because one of the reasons even though there are parts of the story that I either don't have well enough to confirm or don't have entirely, and you hope this leads to more of it. Like sometimes when stories like this come out, other people then reach out and talk, and different reporters, whatever. You hope it keeps it alive. You hope that they explain it fully when all this comes out. And really there are other, in terms of when the head coach McElwain knew and those sort of things. Like there are things that I think I know that I can't quite share, and you hope there's some corroboration. That I think those things will come out in time. So I don't think it'll fizzle out entirely. No, because I mean, Central Michigan screwed this up. They can talk about personnel issues, but it's an NCAA investigation. But it was their investigation first, and they could have. You can. There are a lot of schools that would have spoken up if they really wanted to, and they say they don't talk about personnel issues, but they really do. Schools do it all the time. They hide behind that. They just don't do it when it's inconvenient. They talk about coaching changes and new hires all the time. They just don't do it when they don't want to do it. They've made a mess of this in that sense.
John Kalmar next. I've heard of a Friday news dump, but never a first pitch of the first home Tigers playoff game in 10 years news dump for the Stallions story. Graham, how much pure options is too much pure options?
Yeah, there's no such thing as actually there could be too much things, but
impossible.
It was not pure options related, although I wish it was. It was as we talked about earlier in the show. It was just the timing of when the story was ready. I didn't want to.
Was there discussion though? Like, hey, the Tigers game's coming up.
Yeah, my editor's a big Tigers guy, and he was. The problem was, it's what I still have left to publish, and I don't like when my columns get on top of each other because it hurt. So if the Stallion story were to come out in the morning, along with an MSU hockey column, that hockey column gets buried, right? And I don't want that. I won't want that for the MSU hockey column. It's a good story what's going on with them in the Boston College game of a year ago and how that spurred things. I wanted to tell that story, and I want that column to have a chance to breathe on its own. So Stallions piece I knew would do fine regardless of when it came out, and it has. It's done really well.
David Jackson, will you report to us the indication of how many times your Stallion story is read online compared to the clicks of whatever the biggest headline on page 1 of the paper, plus the next biggest sports section story of the day? I want to know how important this scandal is to Lansing.
I mean, I'll give you I'm not going to share the exact metrics because I'd get in trouble for that, but I'll let you know how well read it is. It's going to be really well read, and I can already see that it is. It does matter to people. Now, it's not just Lansing. Like people read us from all over the place, and the Free Press, immediately picked up the story as well. It did get a little buried in the Free Press by the Tigers right away, but it'll be very important, and I can let you know relative to other stories how it does.
Bobby next.
I think it's Bibby. Sorry, it's
Bibby.
Autocorrect.
Did you watch the Bussin' Pod with Stallions? Was the most insightful podcast I've ever listened to in the world of college football. What are your thoughts?
I heard some clips. I haven't listened to the whole podcast. I might at some point. Stallions is an interesting character. Certainly he's a bright guy. And, it seemed like an entertaining podcast. And the stuff about, helping Ohio State beat Michigan State was interesting. Not that Michigan State team in 2021, given where it was with Kenneth Walker hobbled, the defense having nothing left, was going to beat Ohio State on that given day. But, look, it speaks to – and I know a lot of this stuff goes on. People share information on staffs all the time. So that part of it I don't know. But – look, Stallions is at this point a disgraced former staffer. He's not going to get hired on another college football staff. It's just not going to happen.
Ever?
I don't think he gets hired on another college football staff. I wouldn't be stunned if he winds up on a pro staff because he's got a talent for it. He's got a knack for it. But I don't think he gets hired by an NCAA school. A young enough guy, who the hell knows? Maybe the NCAA won't exist in 5 years, so what the hell do I?
Captain Sparty, what would be the reason why this show ends?
Oh.
Well, I mean, if we don't get paid anymore, I mean, that would be the. I love doing this show, but I'm not doing it for free. And
yeah,
Couch gets another job, or
yeah,
something. I mean,
or we just stop having fun. right now it's fun. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but like if it ever stops being fun, we probably would.
I mean, we
would
did
stop
the show
doing
when I was dead inside.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm back, I mean, we can't stop now.
No, right.
Gotham volleyball dad, according
Gorham. Sorry,
Gorham, Gotham and Gorham. According to ourlads.com, Oregon's offensive line started 3 seniors and a junior. None of the 5 starters were transfers. Is it possible for MSU to reach this level of continuity?
Sure. Because I think in the offensive line you don't want transfers. I mean, big guys, they don't tend to be in the good ones don't tend to be in the transfer portal. They don't tend to move around a lot. They're guys who get to a place, they're comfortable, they're happy there. It's a little different, and you've got to develop through recruiting the old school way. And I've often said the NIL for the offensive line would be the way to go. But absolutely, I think Michigan State has an offensive line coach who's revered, and we'll see what he can actually do. The problem is at this point it just feels like it's never going to happen because they just haven't been a good offensive line, or at least one that can push people around of any level in a decade. And it's like at this point it's seeing is believing before any of us really. I mean, it's not the current coaching staff's fault. It's not a lot of the current players' fault that the program has been like this for so long, but they are not going to be trusted until they actually do it.
Oh, and what happens with the MSU linebacker room moving forward? No secret you need more athleticism and depth for the rest of the season. Are we still all in on Jordan Hall?
I like Jordan Hall a lot as a player. It'll be interesting to see what his ceiling is and everything. Now, he was out last week, and I think he's expected to be back for the Iowa game, and it hurt them not having him. You saw that when too much gets put on Cal Halladay, what that looks like. So I still think the linebacker room and the entire front seven is a strength of this team. Halladay not being asked to do more than he can is really important. And when he is, last week didn't look great.
Peasy, what should MSU fans make of all the love from Devin Booker? On the one hand, it's cool. On the other hand, he had a chance to play for Izzo and chose not to. And from Bo McJunkins, why should I care about Devin Booker? You always wanted to be a Spartan? That's weird. You chose Kentucky. Seems like you'd pick MSU if that's what you always wanted.
Well, this is the pre-NIL era, okay? Right. And so, like,
you would have taken a huge pay cut.
They're and Kentucky, for whatever people want to say, my friend at the Sun Times, Michael O'Brien, who's actually a friend of Madeline Kenney's too, and a friend of my friend Scott Powers. We're all one big
circle jerk.
Circle jerk. I was gonna say. Anyway, he did good reporting, and they threatened to sue him, and of course didn't, because it was true that that they had offered $200,000 to Anthony Davis back in this is
sounds
2000. Well, this is 12. Yeah, I don't know, but this is back when there wasn't NIL, and this is a long time ago. And so when you get guys saying I always wanted to go to MSU but couldn't, or didn't say but couldn't, always wanted to go to MSU and they didn't wind up there, you can put a few things together. And it may not be entirely the reason. And I know Booker was somebody they wanted and they went after, and would have been a really good,
unbelievable
would have been
player.
Good. Yeah.
And finally, Upper Deck Jerk Guy. Now that Saleh is free, would he be worth Michigan State to hire as a consultant if Smith was amenable?
Well, it's also Joe Rossi. I mean, this is a defensive mind, and he's a good defensive mind. And I don't know if Joe Rossi has a relationship with him, but you don't want to mess.
Why would Saleh do that?
Well, and why would Joe Rossi do it? Why would you want
right,
that?
but I'm saying Saleh right now just come in all of a sudden.
He's getting paid a ton.
Yeah.
He's getting paid a ton over the next 2 years. I mean, it's unbelievable how much money he's getting. So he's got to be in no hurry to do it. He'll get another coordinator job in the NFL because he was a well thought of coordinator in the NFL. I don't know, it could be a while before he gets another head coaching job.
Let's get paid to go away.
God, it's the best.
You've got to be awesome.
Yeah, you've been hoping for that for a long, long time. It's really life goal.
Yep.
We appreciate all of you for helping to produce our show, for listening to our show. Appreciate Madeline Kenney coming on. Should have had her on much earlier, but you can see why she was fun to be around on the beat and fun to compete with. Appreciate Groovy Donuts. Go to groovydonuts.com, place your orders today, or swing by either location on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamson, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. We appreciate our friends at Pure Options. Go to pureoptions.com. Download the Pure Perks loyalty program. Check out their events. We also, of course, appreciate our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. If you want to play the Tigers, not too late, jump on them. and Front 43 in Cask and Company. Great place to watch the games. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you next week. Couch in the Roof.